All right. So we got a 2019 Cummins Turbo Diesel 6.7. So this is a 5th gen, and somebody mixed coolants or put some sort of coolant additive in this truck that clogged the cooling system. So we had to do a couple of cooling flushes out of it. Not me, another tech in the building did all that. But after that, the guy drove it for a couple of more weeks, and his turbo actuator gave out on him. So to test the turbo actuator, all you gotta do is the code will kind of come up. It's like a hard code for this, but if you look in here, you can see all the gunk that got into the actuator motor, which is kind of weird. Pull the wheel well, pull the actuator, it's right here. It's right here on the turbo. Pull the actuator off, and you will go ahead and check the vanes. So this is really easy going one way, and it literally is really hard going the other way. So like easy, really hard going one way. So it burns out the motor in this. So the turbo got hot and the vanes kind of got seized up in there. So we don't clean them out here. We replace the turbo. The price it will cost you to clean it, you could just get a new turbo. New turbo comes with a new actuator. We're gonna go ahead and throw that in right now. And then all this goes back as a core, but I'm thinking it got a little clogged up and the turbo just got hot. Turbo was throwing some oil too, but not a terrible amount. Anyway, we're on to the cleaning process now. I didn't have my camera yesterday when I pulled this sucker out, but essentially you get your V-band off, pull your 3 bolts out this way, and then you have one stud that goes through the back on this, and I'll show you how to get that in a minute. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and clean this surface up, and then we're gonna wipe all this boost pipe out, and then go ahead and put turbo back in. Okay. So you're gonna flip it upside down, slide it in through the top. You're gonna have to play with the AC line a little bit, and then once you get it down to this point, you're gonna have to twist it and kind of have somebody help you from the top and rotate it down in. So this is where we're at now. So it fits everywhere without damaging anything. You have to play with these 2 coolant lines a little bit. So this coolant line you have to play with a little bit. It fits with the actuator, no problem. You want to cover this solenoid up so you don't damage anything. If you got the battery unplugged already, you're gonna have to unplug the battery if you don't, but you don't want to damage any of these wires, so you just keep this right here. And it's a 2-man op, but you don't have to take this pipe off. You don't have to take this, it's got enough flex. If you're coming out with the actuator off is easier. So now we're on, so now all I have to do is pull this rubber boot up onto the bottom of the turbo, and then I'm gonna put my turbo bolts in the bottom, and then you already got your line fittings and everything's already on. This just stays right here for now. It wraps around and goes underneath. And everything plugs in there. The other thing you're gonna wanna do is there's a coolant line on the block here. Crack it loose and it will allow this bottom line right here to swivel down. So by that line swiveling down, it just gives you plenty of room. The other thing is your turbo drain. Your turbo drain should have rotation in the block. So your turbo drain is right here. It's right here. And it should have rotation and flex in the block. So you should be able to rotate it and flex it. If you can't rotate and flex it back into its home, then it's a broken thing. You rotate, and the head of the drain will rotate as well. So you'll be able to rotate that back into its spot, and it had flexi tube. We didn't replace it because it was nothing wrong with it. It wasn't seized in the block or anything. So now you can go ahead, you're gonna have to have somebody help you steady it from the top. Somebody's definitely gonna have to help you steady it from the top. So they're gonna have to like lift and rotate a little, and you're gonna have to guide it from the bottom around that coolant line, and it will slip right in. And if you do it careful enough, you won't have any problems, and everything will go fine. Just be patient with it. It takes 5 minutes to put that in. I forgot to turn the camera on, but it took about 5 minutes to put that in. So now we're on our studs. We're gonna go ahead and put the stud through the back of the turbo after we snug down the other 3 bolts. Down pipe 2. And I'm gonna go ahead and get my V-band on after that. First we're gonna get our position all set up for that, and then this line gets zip tied to the other line. The turbo is going to come with zip ties, but this line that goes underneath here, this electronic line, it's going to go on this side of the turbo to the cold side, and it's going to get zip tied down to the other line here that is also going to feed underneath. Anyway, we're gonna put it up in the air now. I don't have to be on the ground anymore. It's easier to kind of be on the ground, but that's how we're gonna do that. So we're gonna set this all up and then get this thing all primed and fired. I have a syringe, so on the oil side, I have a little syringe in one of my boxes over here. I gotta pull it out, but I'll take a couple of syringes of oil and I'll prime down into the oil prime right here on top of the turbo. So I'll put oil down in here. You can prime that turbo, get some oil in there, spin it over. That's the next process after I bolt everything down. So that's where we're at right now. So you're gonna get your other 3 bolts snugged. Keyword, snugged. Then you're gonna go for the top stud down in here and thread this top stud in. So you get this mother sucker right here. This is the turbo side right here. Looks a little different on one side than the other. This is the outside. And you're gonna stuff it right in. It goes right in here. If it doesn't go by hand all the way down, you've got a problem. So you're gonna thread it all the way down by hand. Now all the other 3 bolts are snugged up. They're not tight, they're snugged. Studs in. I like to use a little bit of blue Loctite. You'll put your bolt on there. Boom, boom. Snug this sucker down right there. Oop that. Yeah, all your fingers first. A little easier. And then you're gonna tighten this one down. First one you're going to tighten. And that'll be it. Then we're going to get our torque in there, torque it down. Tighten it with a wrench first. Then you get in there with a torque and fucking torque it down. So now I'm going to go ahead and snug all the other ones down a little tighter. And then your turbo is mounted in there. Okay, so once you do that, you're gonna pull this hose back, up, and slide it on. And then we're gonna tighten this down next. upper hose right here. Oop, that would be reverse. Give it the 1, 2, and that's tight. It's 11 millimeter. Okay, that's gonna be it for up top for the moment. So we are going to go down, we're gonna put the turbo drain on, and then we're gonna prime it with our little pump. So we're gonna go down, we're gonna put the lower coolant line on, we're gonna swivel it up, tighten the line back in, and I've already replaced the O-ring. So when I took the turbo out, I took the line all the way out, replaced the washer O-rings on the coolant line, put it back on before I put the turbo back in, and then we're gonna swivel this up, attach it, after we put the turbo drain goes on first. Okay, so it's kind of tricky to see, but right here's your 2-bolt turbo drain, and then right next to it over here is your coolant. So our coolant line's in place already. We just have to slide the bolt in. Now this goes in after the drain. Very important. These come out of the way. And then your drain's gonna come over. And you gotta kind of recrimp the drain a little. Your drain swivels on the head. The head will swivel. Okay? And it will also swivel in the pan, so you have some crank on it. You want to make sure you get it in the right spot. Pull it over, you crimp it up, and then you gotta use 2 hands. I only have 1 because I'm filming, but we're gonna go ahead and put our drain in, and then our bolt on the bottom. Banjo. Drain is mounted back in. Now we're gonna bolt our coolant line back in. It is right here. Swivel it back up. It's bolted into the block, but it's not tightened down. If you look straight through here, there's your coolant bolt right there. Tighten it down after you tighten this one down on the motor. It's so tight I can't really show anything, but that's what you want to do. You want to do that one first. Okay, so there's your drain right here. There's your coolant lines all torqued down. Your bolts are all torqued down there. Now you're going to plug in your actuator, your NOx sensor, and run them underneath right there. Okay, so we have a zip tie above the push clamp that goes here for our lovely VVT there, and then actuator. Then these lines, you need a little bit of slack when you put the lines up top. So leave the zip tie loose till the end. Zip tie it right down the line. Keep all the wires together. Put your downpipe on, and then you have a bottom shield that has to go on. Make sure it's clearing your turbo drain, and then you're done underneath. Now we're gonna go back up top, put the 2 coolant and the oil line in up top, and prime the turbo. So that's all she wrote here. You have your plastic fitting, make sure it's tight with your O-ring, your vent, your oil line, your coolant line, and your oil line. Next we're gonna put the filler neck on and fire it up. Well, we have to program it, I'll show you how to do that. So, we are into the scan tool issues. If this thing decides to work. So on 2017, 16 maybe? See, somewhere in 16, 17, and 18, somewhere one of those 3 years, they switched over to the SecuraLink on the Dodges, and you have to pay for a service to be able to get into the ECU on your scan tool. You can't just hook up your scan tool. You can do a general OBD2, and that's about it. You can't just get into there. I don't know why the VIN's not supported, and it pops right up. Oh, because it's SecuraLink. So we're gonna display all systems. And it'll give you the SecuraLink gateway unlock, and then it will let you in. See, it has to say, to be able to get in and talk to the computer, it has to say available SecuraLink. If it don't say that, you got a problem. So we're gonna go into, clear the codes for our turbo actuator. We're gonna back out. We are going to go to resets and relearns. And then we are going to go to VGT, body control. Oh, I go wide already? Or is it not in here? Relearn turbocharger, functional calibrations, variable recalibrate, continue, 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 continue. Successful. Test it. We don't. We gotta run the truck for that one. Okay, hold on. Okay. Let's do probably an idle relearn. Nope, that doesn't require on this truck. Okay, so that's our turbo relearn. I don't believe it'll need anything else other than the VVT relearn. So let's fire it up. I can't. That's it right there. All nice in there. Always want to check for leaks on the O-rings you replaced. We're going to lift it up and clean off the bottom. Everything looks good though. Everything looks goody. Make sure that bottom one's not dripping. I have to blow it all off, clean it all off. Looks like we're good there. So that's how you install a turbo on a 2019 6.7 Cummins. Fairly easy. I wish I could have. There's really not a lot of room to video up in there, and I don't want to disassemble my thing to get up in there and really video it. But make sure you program it before you go. And now we're gonna put some miles on it. Make sure the code don't come back, and then we're done with this one. All in all, the job to remove this turbo and put the new stuff in shouldn't take you more than 4 hours. If I was really hustling too.